Hi, this is Dr. Kimberley Linert, author of Visualizing Happiness in Every Area of Your Life and host of this podcast, Incredible Life Creator. And today I have Jennie Marie with me. Hey, Jennie.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Yes, so excited to have you on today and to tell your story. But just so people know a little bit about you, I'm going to read your bio. Jennie Marie is the star of TLC's Mama Medium. Jennie is a fourth generation empathic psychic medium with a positive outlook that has lent itself well to her success. She has three main gifts she uses in all her readings: mediumship, where Jennie Marie relays messages from past loved ones. She is an empath, meaning she can literally feel energy around her, which gives her validation from the other side. And Jennie can see into the future. She's a trifecta. Readings are often filled with healing, closure, and laughs. Jennie Marie's sense of humor has led her to believe in the past life she was a comedian. She loves to laugh and to make others laugh. This gift, paired with her spiritual gift, has made her one of the most sought after mediums. Jennie is super relatable. She is a wife and mom to four teenage boys. Yes, some of the boys have similar gifts, but leave the spotlight to Mama. You may see her around the hockey rink giving readings to strangers. Jennie Marie's philosophy towards daily life is in line with the golden rule or the laws of attraction, meaning that what you give to the universe, you get back tenfold, with a tagline of live your life like it's the only one you have. All right. So I would just love to hear your
Jeez.
stories. I just want to, first of all, growing up in a family, would you say, what is it, four generations of mediumship? That might could have been a wild family. I don't know.
My coulda, I love it. So it wasn't, I was raised old school Italian Catholic. I went to Catholic school for many, many years. Back then, you didn't talk about it. So if it was mentioned at home, it was, we don't talk about this outside the house. It was very taboo, right? My uncle was a priest, so we were always very, you know how it is. And so even though we were all gifted, it was something we didn't discuss all the time. But we all knew the energy existed. We all prayed. You can feel it when you pray and you feel that energy. So it wasn't like we were walking around reading each other all the time. It was more of, hey, we have this. I always make the joke of, yes, I think it's genetic and it's going to get me just like diabetes. I figured it was just coming down the line anyway, but I didn't figure it out till later in life as well. So we didn't talk about it all the time,
Mhm.
but it still was crazy.
All right. So tell me how it all started. I mean, when you said, what am I going to do when I grow up? Obviously, you didn't say this. So,
My God, I love you. Actually, that's funny. So when I was 7, we had knotty pine doors. We just had these doors, and one of the knots on the in the wood was a face, and it would talk to me.
mhm.
And I thought I had an imaginary friend. I was 7. So I was like, oh, I have an imaginary friend. I'm so excited. I never had an imaginary friend. All my friend had imaginary friends. And every night it would tell me to kiss my great grandfather. And again, raised Italian Catholic, we saw each other 3 times a week. Like this, we did this. We had recently moved about 20 minutes out and I had not seen him, but again, I'm 7. So this is just my memory going off there. And every night it would tell me, you have to kiss your great grandfather. I called him GGP because I couldn't say great grandfather when I was little. And eventually the face was relentless, but every night it made me feel comfortable. Like it wouldn't say anything, it wouldn't move, it was just there. So I had said to my mom, I need to see GGP. She passed it off, we moved. Finally, I went to my grandma. Hey, I need to see him. What's going on? He had an inoperable brain tumor and he was dying. They didn't want to tell me I was young. They finally took me to see him. I don't know if it's the Italian heritage or the Catholic. You can't see when you're young, go to funerals and things like that. That was always protected. So they waited till the night before he left the hospital. I walked into the room. He kissed and hugged me. He did not know who anybody was. He could not speak. But when I walked in, he cried. It was the craziest thing. I'll never forget it. Like the family was like, oh my God, he knows who she is. He died 24 hours later and the face was gone. I never saw it again.
Oh,
So I lost my great grandfather and my imaginary friend,
oh,
but I didn't know my imaginary. Okay, right? So it was his wife that I was named after who had died before I was born. So it's gone. So let's fast forward. When I was 10, I told my mom I want to be a comedian. And she said, Jenny, I don't think you're very funny and you don't make a lot of money as a comedian. And I was like, I know, but I'm really funny. My friends say I'm funny, whatever, blah, blah, blah. 12 years old, I played soccer. I got my very first vivid premonition. Maybe I had more before that. I don't know. We were on the bus on the way to a soccer game and I closed my eyes. I always got motion sick. So I had to close my eyes for a minute. And I saw on the soccer field a circle all around one of our teammates in an ambulance. And I was going through each player and I was not in that circle. So now I wake up, I tell my friend, I'm getting hurt in the soccer game, I'm not playing. I told the coach, I can't play. But I didn't tell her why I couldn't play. I just said, I don't feel good, I can't play. She's like, Jenny, you have to play. We don't have enough, whatever. We're playing the game. I'm trying to get rid of it. My friend told me I was being paranoid. It was anxiety. I'm 12, right? I have never gone to the bathroom in a soccer game. I went to the bathroom, I came back, and Chrissy broke her ankle. And it was just like I had that premonition. Everyone was around her. I was not in the circle. I was so freaked out. I was afraid to go to sleep. I was like, what happened? I mean, it was so vivid. Again, released it. Not thinking psychic, not using no term, anything, going on with life. This is a very scary part of the story, and forgive me, I hope I don't freak you out. So I told my mom, hey, I'm getting these premonitions. She said, here, and she gave us a Ouija board. She thought she would scare it out of us. Well, I was raised Catholic, so we would pray, we would bring the Bible out, I had the rosary out, we would hold hands, we would pray. The Ouija board worked every single time. It was positive, it was amazing. We lost a classmate when we were 11 to leukemia. She came through every time with messages for her mom. And we would go to the mom's house and tell her what she said, and the mom would cry and say, don't stop the messages. It was the craziest thing because people using Ouija boards are like, ah, we were helping her. I have so many chills. We were helping her mom. It was the craziest thing. Anyway, we stopped playing it because we kept hearing such negative things. And I was like, maybe one day it will be negative, but it was amazing for us. Still not using the term medium, psychic, kind of ignored it, went on through life. Things would happen and I would know. Late 20s. I was like, okay, I can't ignore this anymore. I'm seeing things that are happening all the time. I'm standing next to people and I'm seeing people around them. I mean, it was a chunk where I ignored it. And then it was kind of like, I prayed, God, if I'm supposed to have this gift, show me what I'm supposed to do with it. I still pray every day, put who I'm supposed to help heal in my path. And I feel like I meet all these amazing, cool people. And I know it sounds so cliche, but that's what I do. And now here I am talking to dead people and giving advice about the future. But for some reason it works out. But I've met some of the most amazing people, and I always say this, I use my gift for healing and closure. All mediums are different. Some mediums aren't psychic. Some psychics aren't mediums. Like there's a whole thing. I don't know what other people use their gifts for, but I always say healing and closure. And as I'm watching somebody heal, I'm actually healing myself. It's crazy. It was a long story. I didn't mean to take so long.
But isn't it funny how that happens? Whenever you're facilitating or
Yeah.
helping or healing someone else, or you always heal yourself.
So cool. It's like, I don't even know how to describe it because it's energy, but you know what I mean? It's like, it's amazing. I'm so blessed. I literally say thank you every day.
That is awesome. So when people come to you, what are they mostly asking? I mean, sometimes I know, I had a fiance die.
Oh, geez, I'm so sorry.
Yes. And, I did have someone help me at that time, to get some clarity on that for closure and things like that. But so I know there's people that come to see you for that, but what other things do people come to see you for?
Guidance about the future. Sometimes, especially when, not necessarily when you've had a loss, but maybe if you're at a crossroads or just life in general. I work with a lot of corporate people about work, who they're hiring, how they should hire, how they should change their business. A lot of entrepreneurs. Obviously people who want to connect with past loved ones, pets, people who want to connect with their past pets. I feel like there's so many different, I don't call myself a medical intuitive, but I get medical as well. So sometimes, people are saying, hey, I have this going on. Can you help me? And somehow I have helped on some level. I don't know. I guess I don't feel like there's just like this one reason anyone goes, if that makes sense. I mean, my children ask me things, but not like, they ask me questions in a way that I've noticed as they got older is not, hey, mom questions. They're like, hey, mom. If that makes sense.
Uh-huh.
So I don't know. I feel like it's just so like everyday and mundane for us that this is what we do. But you're right. Like, I guess in the beginning, I thought you only went to a medium to talk to somebody you lost. No, I think that there's so much more involved.
Mhm. Yeah. And how does this healing and closure happen?
Well, it's, I don't want to say even just for tragic passings, but anytime you lose someone, are you okay? Where are you? How do I know where you are? How do I get there? Sometimes there's a lot of guilt, whether it's tragic or not. I have a lot of clients who had to make the decision to release them and let them go. And, at that point, they don't get to have that closure here. I love you. Goodbye. You're doing the right thing. So that's that closure piece. Or, a lot of times, and it's very unfortunate, but it's coming up a lot. You lose someone and then you go back to childhood and there's so much trauma that didn't get fixed before you left because you think it's okay and you have enough time and then you don't. So a lot of times we have to go backwards to find the closure and have this past loved one, add that closure there. And everyone grieves differently, and the grieving process is so unique and can take longer for each person. So I feel like the healing is different depths inside of there, and it's not just about the past loved one, but for your own self, right? I always say, they get to go, they get to be in heaven, and it's amazing and it's beautiful, and we're stuck here. So whatever healing and closure we can have, because spirit doesn't want us to carry that around. They want us to have healing and closure. And the other part is too, is that I use laughter in mine. I think first I wanted to be a comedian. Second of all, when we feel so vulnerable when we're grieving, right? So when we connect, think about when you're standing next to someone that's high vibrational and laughing and joking, that's healing in itself. So I feel like using that on a totally different healing level. Maybe we're not having a conversation about what is exactly going on, but just when you need to hear from that person, when you've just had like a crappy day and that person reaches out and you're like, oh my God, I have chills. Like they heal you in some way at that level as well.
That's true. I mean, even though it's been several years now, I mean, I still talk to him, you
You
know,
should.
I still talk to him. And my grandmother passed maybe 3.5 years ago. I still talk to her. I'll say, I miss you, or I want to talk to you about something. And
Good.
I believe in my heart that they're hearing me. I don't know if they're hearing
I
me, but I
promise you
know
they're hearing you. I promise. And honestly, they only want us to know that they're still there. They're just in a different form. So the more we talk to them and the more that we pull them in and the more we ask them for signs, they'll show them to you.
Mhm. Oh, wow. That's really beautiful. So, now you're the mama medium. Mama medium.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
how did you get to be on TV?
Honestly, I feel like it was a premonition and manifesting. So something kept saying to me, you're going to have your own show. You're going to have your own show. I told my husband, he was like, we'll be divorced. And he shut it down immediately. Not happening. We're not doing this to the children. Absolutely not. So a whole year went by and I was like, babe, like I can see it. I can feel it. So then I started throwing it out a little bit more. I'm manifesting, right? I had shut it down like he did. I blocked it. I was like, nope. He said, no, my marriage, I want to be a mom. And then I started manifesting it a little bit more and he started to open up to it a little bit. And then everything just started to fall into place, and meeting the right people and being in the right place and praying. I was literally praying, God, show me if this is the way. If you need me on TV, show me. Like I'm literally asking for these things, just like we would about anything else. And I have chills right now. Like I'm so thankful it just fell into my lap. And honestly, it was so much better for my husband because it's very structured. It's, hey, we're going to film from 11 to 2 this day. And then we don't need your husband.
Mhm.
And the cameras just don't walk around with you all the time. Do you know what I mean? Okay, we're gonna film your kids from 3 to 4:30. Like it was very structured, so it worked out very well. But nothing we did inside of it was structured. It was like, hey, from 3 to 4, you guys do whatever you want. You're gonna be in the grocery store. Show us who you are.
Mhm.
but just the structured part was great. And I don't know, you know, I feel in some parts of me, I feel guilty about the show because I read so many people that didn't make it on the show, but in such a great way. I feel like how blessed I was able to meet those people and share. You know, and I feel like half of them would never have gone to a medium anyway. But
Mhm.
it's the I want to be on TV. You know, they want to be on TV, so they're going. But honestly, like there was so much. Like I can think about 5 right now that didn't make it on the show, which doesn't matter. But just I kept saying, I'm so blessed. I'm so thankful. I still keep in touch with them. Like
Mhm.
it was, I don't know. I manifested it. It was a premonition. God pushed me. However we're gonna say it happened. It was not a lifelong dream. It just woke up one day and was like, this is what we're doing.
Wow.
I guess that's what being a psychic is about.
Yeah, well, and once you were in it, I mean, in it, doing the show, your family was involved. How did they, once it actually started and we were saying, yes, we're doing this thing, how was everyone's reaction? Did they decide that it was okay? They loved it, or like they kind of wish they weren't doing it?
So we're very close, all 6 of us, and we had several family meetings about it. If anyone thinks it's a no, tell mommy right now. Like, let's have a conversation. If you ever feel comfortable, we'll put the uncomfortable, put the like we were extremely transparent and told the crew, like in front of the crew, we had this meeting. Hey, my babies are young. I mean, they were young. What were they? 6, 7, 8, and 10, I think. Maybe a little bit older, but they were young. Oh yeah. So I'm gonna say like 8, 9, 11 and 12. It was okay. I will tell you, I think that my kids liked filming when they were together. When they would individually make them film, my kids would get very nervous. And, you know, when the show came out, teenage boys are not the nicest. So my older 2, I won't say that they were bullied, but everything was like over the top. And you know, my oldest son was taking pictures and of his friends' screensavers and sending them to me, and it was my picture, or it was Aiden's. It was just like they were like really getting at it. But they really, I think they liked the show. They liked what it was about. I think it's funny because I ask them now, what if it was going to happen now? And they're all like, no, 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 I can't get bullied, mom. I'm like, you're not bullied. But I think they enjoyed it. I honestly think that, yeah, I think they do. But it was, I don't know. It was like the craziest experience. I don't even know how to word it. But I'm so thankful they were a part of it. I couldn't imagine doing it without them because we are so close.
Mhm. Wow. And then, now looking back, how do you think that, changed your family or made your boys stronger?
I think looking back, this sounds silly, and I don't want it to come off as an ego because I don't have one at all, but I feel like they see me in a different light and they appreciate me on a different level. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
I've noticed that my older 2 sons specifically, because they were a little bit older when we filmed, um, I want to say they were proud. Like it was like a whole, I don't know. We're already so close, but you know, it changed a little bit. And even now, honestly, tonight at dinner, so all 6 of us eat dinner together every single night, every day, still, no phones. This is what we do. And tonight, my oldest son said, you know, my friend's coming to visit and his dad died recently. Mom, can you sit with him for a few minutes? And I was like, of course. I mean, he's 20. My oldest son's 20. And I was like, of course. Absolutely. But I thought, how sweet is that? Like, you know, and a lot of times this is funny too. So he'll be with his friends. I'll get a FaceTime at 1 o'clock in the morning. So I'm panicking, right? Oh my God, what's going on? Mom, Robbie just broke up with his girlfriend. He needs your help. Can you? I thought, of
Oh.
course I can, because this 1-year-old kid is saying, talk to my mom. She has the best advice ever. So I think it gave them an admiration of what I do. Not, I don't know. Does that make sense? I hope I relayed that right. And I say thank you every time because you know, I feel like there's so many families out there that aren't as close, but yeah. So I think the show kind of was like, wow, maybe my mom isn't just talking. There's something to it.
Yeah. So, I heard you say that you guys have dinner together every night, but what other things do you think that, even your relationship between you and your husband and then with your children, what is it that created this closeness? Because a lot of families just wish they had that closeness. either with their spouse
Yeah.
or with their kids, and especially as they get into teenagers. A lot of times you feel like they're kind of going off and they're not listening or not wanting to converse.
I First of all, I believe I found my soulmate, so I'm very blessed. This is my second marriage. I had to jump the hurdles in the first one. And I also came from not a great childhood. We were all disconnected. I had a stepdad, a half sister. We weren't close at all. And, one of the things I always wanted in life the most was to be a mom. So I always knew I'd have four. I honestly, at a young age, I knew I'd have four boys. So I think I wanted right from then to be like, hey, I want this close. I've always felt it. And I'm very blessed that my kids are also on board with it, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
Like literally tonight, all six of us had dinner together. It's just what we do. I don't know. I feel very blessed. And I'm not saying that my kids are leaving this table and going and hanging out with each other, because they're not. I don't know how we do it. I just think it's what we do, and we let you know what I'm lying to you. You know what I think it is? I'm a true boy mom, and I'm very sarcastic. I try to make everything very funny. Does that make sense? We have rules, but I'm not strict. But if you cross a line, I don't know, I feel, and they're also boys, so I feel like if they're mad at me, 10 minutes later it's over. Like I'm like, okay, we're keep moving. But we do a lot together. We're really still big into board games. On a Sunday, four of us will be, or not all of us, or three of us will be playing a board game still. We love cards. I just feel like the time you spend together is important. And I'm really big on energy. But all four of my kids are gifted. And I also feel like if I have high vibration and they have we're constantly raising each other's vibrations, right? I have chills when I say that. So I feel like we get each other on an energetic level.
Mhm.
And God bless my husband for putting up with all of us.
Talk more about vibration and being in vibration with another person. How does that work?
So we all have vibration, we all have energy, right? And I believe whatever you put out, you get, right? And I also believe that you can change what's going on inside. So I am the type of person, because of where I grew up in a very low vibrational I was constantly living in fight or flight. I promised myself that would never happen when I got older. And I think that's where the laughter and the fun. So I try to make sure my vibration is high, because we're attracted to high vibration, right? So I'm meditating, I'm praying, I'm working on myself. I think I'm funny. I think laughter is the best medicine. So I feel like my kids will be drawn to that. I'm hoping, my friends, my husband. And as we're vibrating high, right? Like you and I smiling and laughing, we're both raising our vibration right now because it feels so good. You're then going to pass it to the next person. I have chills. And more people get attracted to it, just like the phrase misery loves company. So if you're a low vibrational and you're the victim and you're miserable, you're going to find people similar, right? So it's the same thing. We all want to be about that high vibrational fun. So that's how I think we keep our family moving in that direction.
Yeah, that sounds wonderful. So I'm just curious, have you ever got up and done any stand-up comedy since you wanted to do that since you were a child?
I do live group readings right now. I'm going to go on a little tour in the fall. I don't call them stand up, but I am myself in the middle of reading. So, but I am like this too, even if we're on a phone reading anyway. I just feel like spirit's funny. And I feel like, like we all have people jokes and funny. And I feel like I do that. I don't know how or why. It's so funny you said that, because somebody just asked me the other day, did I ever take training or anything? And I was like, just from dead people. Like I do whatever they tell me, but I happen to be very witty at the same time. I don't know why. Thank you. Thank you. But I feel like, so I don't do stand up, but if you come to one of my shows, I guarantee you're going to leave laughing and having a great time. So I always say everyone is entertained. I appreciate you saying that. So it's not really, and the crazy thing is, in Texas, here in Dallas, I actually do my show at a comedy club, but I'm still talking to dead people. Like a lot of people crying. So 1 minute, the whole room is crying, and 5 minutes later, I've said the dumbest thing. So we're all laughing, so nobody feels vulnerable.
What a catharsis.
It's so fun, actually.
Crying and laughing.
Yeah, that's exactly what's happening.
Exactly. Yeah. And oh, there was something else I wanted to ask you about that, but I'm going to ask you something else right now. So how important is it to have gratitude?
It's funny you say that. That's probably the number one thing that I walk around all day saying 25,000 million times. And my children are like, Mom, stop. Um, that's about raising your vibration. To have gratitude, you have to be in the space to recognize that what you were given was a blessing or a gift, right? So, and you can't get any more if you're not in the right space. So, gratitude to me is huge. I mean, I'm gonna tell you my whole life right now, and I feel really bad. Hopefully it's not too much. I'm gonna be really transparent. When you're praying and or putting out whatever, however you want to say it, whatever. There are some days where I literally won't ask anything, and it's a full gratitude day. You know what? I've asked enough. I'm not asking anymore. All day is a huge gratitude day, and I refuse to ask for anything that day because I have chills, right? And I also feel like think about when somebody gives you something, you're like, oh my God, thank you so much. That's what the universe wants to hear.
Mhm.
Here, I handed you the TV show, Jenny. Here,
Mhm.
right? Like, oh my God, thank. It's the same thing. You know what it feels like when you give somebody something and they're so appreciative. Gratitude is the biggest. I have chills, and I teach this all the time. You may be getting gifts and you may be getting signs, you may be manifesting whatever it is, but if you don't say thank you, you're going to change your vibration. Gratitude is about the higher vibration.
That's right. Just noticing those things every day. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
happy for just the little things. Like
Same.
I love my room. I just love my room. It's my space. I love my bed, the way it feels. I have a special bed that has this adjustable base.
That's awesome.
I got magnets on it,
So
and I
cute. You're
just
so
love
cute.
my room. And I'm so
Good.
thankful when I wake up alive because it's good to wake up every day.
Yes.
And I say thanks that
Yes.
I'm still here. And I woke up in this wonderful bed in this wonderful room. And it seems so simple, but I just feel so happy.
No, that's huge. That's literally huge. That's what I tell all my clients, right? So today when I was sitting outside just having coffee, and I didn't mean to make this about me, I was just making it relatable. This morning when I was sitting outside having coffee and I looked up at the sky and I was like, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for letting me have coffee. Thank you for letting all my children be safe. Right? Like little tiny things. Thank you for this little whiskey barrel that my friend gave me. That's like the best place to put my I hear you. The
Mhm.
simple things, because we can't just say thank you when we find $10 or something, right? I absolutely love that it's your bedroom too, because think about your energy. You're so vulnerable when you sleep.
Mhm.
I absolutely love that you love that space. That's so important.
Yeah.
I love that.
So another question I wanted to ask you, this is the one I was thinking of earlier and I forgot. So of all the people you worked with, what are some of the main things that you're constantly telling everyone? Like everyone kind of has some of the similar
Mm.
issues or problems. So it's kind of a two-part question. That and also um trust in ourselves. So sometimes we come to ask you or someone who does like what you do, we come to ask you something because we feel uncertain, right? But so many times I think we already know the answer.
Sure. So first, I always tell everyone gratitude. I actually love that you said that. That's huge. I always, especially when, let's say it was like a really great reading and we got some really good closure from like childhood or the passing, especially if it's tragic, and then you have some closure. I tell them when you get off the phone, thank your dead people. Thank God, thank your dead people, thank the universe, right? Because we were able to have this moment together. So gratitude is huge. A lot of times it's working on our intuition. Exactly what you said. I actually love that. We all have intuition. It's just we all want validation. We all want a yes or no. We all want to know we're on the right path. The more you fine tune your intuition, the more you raise your vibration, the more you work on it, the more you trust outside the black and white lines, right? Like living outside the box, the stronger it will get. And you might not need the validation as much. So I tell everyone, trust your gut and how you feel. right? To me, the biggest thing is I always tell everyone how you feel. It doesn't matter what it looks like. It doesn't matter what people look like in your dreams. It doesn't matter what color anything is. It's how you feel when you wake up. Because your energy is going to tell you, is this safe? Is this not safe? Did I like this? Was it a visit? So I always tell people it's everything, and it's energy. It's how we feel about everything. A lot of times I feel like I have to tell a lot of clients, like, oh, look, I took a cleansing breath. Like, it's okay to grieve the way you're grieving. I feel like a lot of times, some people are like, oh, well, so and so's grandma died three years ago, but they got over it in 3 months. What's taking you so long? I disagree. I think we need to stop judging each other here. I think we all feel and compute in different ways, and that's a big one, because most of the time we're talking to past loved ones, so we're all grieving on some level. And I always say, I don't care how long you grieve, I don't care what anybody says, but there will be healing. And the other thing too is survivor's guilt, right? So once you've been grieving and grieving and grieving for so long, and like really grieving, and then you start to heal, you're like, I can't heal. They're going to go away. They're not going to hear me. They're not going to see me. That's a big one. I have chills. It's not true. They're shifting. As you shift, they shift.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like those are similar ones that we talk about a lot. Or, people will say, I have to have this job. And I'm saying, well, what happens if you don't? And they're like, I don't know. I'm like, nothing. It will all be okay. It's okay. Don't, I feel like we get so focused on one thing that maybe isn't the best for us, right? So a lot of times it's talking about the bigger picture, and just, it's okay if it doesn't. I feel like we set ourselves up for failure so quick sometimes.
Mm-hmm. And this isn't exactly your area, but I'm going to ask it and just see what you say.
You never know what I'm
So,
gonna say.
you know, sometimes when I'm working on my, manifesting things, and, I've heard, well, make a picture of the way you want it to look and how it's going to be, and feel into it, and just spend a few minutes right there. And
Yeah.
you can get things going in order, right? Get things moving. And sometimes I think to myself, well, I'm manifesting this kind of, but since I haven't been there yet, since I
Mm.
don't know who I'm going to meet or where I'm exactly going to be, how do I create that picture in my mind when there's a person with a placeholder, but I don't know what they look like, or there's a place, but I don't know where do you understand what I'm asking?
I think this is where we get hung up. We get hung up on logistics and details. To me, manifesting is energy. So if you put the energy there, a lot of my clients are like, Jenny, when am I going to meet my person? When's my soulmate? I'm asking every day for tall, dark, handsome, has to make 250,000, has to be 6'4", no daughters. Like, I have people that say this. I'm like, okay, good luck. It's never going to happen. How about you put out, you're just ready for that, right? So how about I'm just ready for my soulmate? How about I'm ready for whatever it is you want? You don't care how you get there, because what happens is you're going to decide how you're going to get there, or what's going to go. But what happens is you're blocking the energy, because what if the universe and God says, hey, I'm going to give that to you, but you're not going to go the way you think. I'm going to make you go this way, because you're going to learn along the way. You're going to get stronger along the way. It's going to be great for you. So what happens is, I love that you're saying, like, how do I know if I'm going to meet that person? When you say that, you're already shutting it down. You're already shutting down your manifestation, because you're already saying, my brain doesn't understand. So what I want, I chills. So what I want you to do is just imagine the energy. How's it going to feel when it's here? Who cares who's there? Who cares what it looks like? We want a ranch. So we want horses and goats and pigs and all this land. And my husband's always like, Jenny, I want to live in East Texas. I'm like, what if our ranch is in West Texas? Who cares? We don't care where it is. Stop. I'm like, Mike, stop. All we want is a ranch. And baby, picture. I'm always like, baby, picture. What does it look like? He's like, oh, it feels so good and it's sunny. Perfect. I go, where are you? He goes, I don't know. I'm like, who cares?
Mhm.
We don't care if it's East or West, right? I know it sounds silly. It's about the feeling and getting there. Or, when people are manifesting like this job or money, and then they're like, I need 200,000. No, we don't know how much you need. We don't care how much you need. You're just going to manifest that you got the money. We don't care where it comes from. Because anytime our subconscious wants to overthink it, we're already blocking it. We're already saying, I need to be in control. I'm out. But in reality, we're not in control. We're in control of getting to where or not getting to where we are, of where we want to be, right? Like, I manifested this show. I had no idea it was TLC. I had no idea what it'd be the premise on. It didn't matter to me. It was just, I knew we'd be on TV and I let the rest fall into place. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I love that because sometimes I'm thinking I'm supposed to be visualizing something, and I even my book visualizing. So
I
I'm
love it.
visualizing and teaching other people to visualize, and I thought, but how can I make a picture of something I don't know? I don't know the details, and that's so helpful because
You don't need to.
just
You're
have
not
the
supposed
feeling.
to.
You don't have to see the picture. You just have the
Yes.
feeling.
Yes. Picture, right? So I always picture myself standing in front of this ranch. And I'm like, okay, it feels so good. I know it's coming. It feels good. If you're manifesting something and you're trying to picture it and you're like, doesn't feel right. I don't, then that's not what you really want. That's not where you're really supposed to be. You have to picture that and be like, man, this feels really good. Does that make sense? I feel like, but our subconscious will be like, nah, we need tall, dark, handsome. No.
Yeah, it's funny because that makes so much sense. Because one of my happy places is by the water, the beach, or whatever, and so a lot of my manifestation has been on this big boat. I don't even know hardly anything
Love
about
it.
it. I don't know what kind of boat it is, but I'm on this boat big enough to walk around on, and I'm there, and I'm with, like, family, friends, but when I try and look and see who's there, like, in the picture, it's
Yeah.
like there's there's people there and I'm happy and they're
Yeah.
happy, but I can't see who all is there.
Because it doesn't matter. It's the moment of you being there, right? So to me,
Mhm.
the best part, I have chills actually when you say this. The best part about it is you're going to be happy and you're going to make it to this boat, and the people who are supposed to be there will be there. Because what happens is, you know how it is. Like, I think when you level up on your spiritual journey, that people that weren't the same as you or can be start falling out. So let's say your boat thing isn't for 6 years from now. Maybe someone you're aligned with right now that you were like, is going to be on the boat. They're not.
Mhm.
And somebody I chose that you haven't even met yet is going to be there. It's going to be way better. All you know is that your soul is freaking happy on this damn boat, and the rest will all fall into place.
Yes. Well, I love that, and that's very helpful. Thank you.
Good. You're welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah. So, anything else you would like to share about what you do um
We're being crazy.
or how to have
um,
more fun?
yeah. I mean, I don't know. I guess literally just every day I say thank you. I'm blessed that you asked me to be here. Um, I love what I do. You're right. I did not wake up and say, hey, I mean, like I told you, things were happening. We weren't even labeling it. It was just, it was the joke in high school was ask Jenny, she knows. And everything was like, are we going to get back together? Does he like somebody? It was so
Mhm.
stupid, but I don't know. I guess it's about what you put out, you get back. I make the joke, back in the day, remember we used to call it YOLO, you only live once. I always say, live your life like it's the only one you have, because it's the only one we have. I feel like my biggest thing is I want to say I try not to take life too serious, but yet life is serious. But I always tell a big no, this, you know what? This is a really big thing. Live in the moment. We get our highest and best information, intuition, feelings when we're living in the moment. And there'll be so many times I'll be with my kids, I'll be like, wait, everybody stop and take a mental snapshot. I'm like, everybody remember how I feel right now. And they're like, ah, mom. But
Mhm.
then when we sit at the dinner table 2 years ago, they're like, remember when you told us to take a mental snapshot? I'm like, and you did, and you remembered it. Right. So living in the moment is best. There's no fear, there's no anxiety, there's no regret. When you live in the moment, I don't know, it sounds silly, but it's real.
Mhm. Makes sense. So if people want to connect with you,
Yeah.
tell us where to connect and what services you're offering now.
So I am doing phone readings right now. I do have a wait list, but you can join it at my website, jenniethemedium.com, JENNIE. I am offering mentoring right now, and it's not just to be a psychic or a medium. It's about raising your vibration and gratitude and getting your own living in your space in that moment, and where am I going on my path and how I get stronger. I'm super excited about it. I just launched it. So mentor with me. It's also on my website. In the fall, we're going to go on a small tour. We don't know exactly where yet, but come see if I'm funny. Come see if I really am funny. Yeah, so that's what I do now. I teach workshops, I mentor, I'm doing these readings, and we're going on tour. It's all can be found on my website. I'm trying to work on social media. It's not my jam. I'm Gen X. I'm trying really hard, but you can also find my social media on my website.
Okay, great. So now I have a personal question. What
Yeah,
gives you the most happiness and fulfillment in your life right now?
right now at this moment,
Yes.
like at this exact second, or you mean in where I am in life right
Where
now?
you are in life right now.
I'm so blessed to be a mom. So my kids are now 20, 19, 16, and 14. And I am soaking up every second because my second and my third son are moving to Seattle, and I'm really freaking out.
Mm.
So I'm at this moment in life, I'm trying to spend as much time and laugh and joke and make memories. But and obviously doing my readings. You know what else is interesting about my kids too? I like watching them grow with their gifts.
Mm.
Because they don't talk about like, hey, I want to be a medium, but they come home and they're like, hey mom, somebody was talking, I got chills. I'm like, that's an affirmation from the other side. Or
Mhm.
my hockey son will be like, hey mom, I knew that where this puck was going to go before it came. I don't know. I'm just soaking up the mom about all of it right now. And my husband, I mean, I love my husband to death, but my babies, they're growing, they're leaving, where are they going?
No.
So that's where I am right now in life.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much for being on the podcast today and for all
Thank you for
your
having
wisdom and
me.
fun.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, so I have one last question before we finish. What
Sure.
is your best advice on living an incredible, amazing life?
Live in the moment.
All right.
Literally live in that moment and look forward to and gratitude.
Mhm.
And look forward to each moment. You're making a new memory every moment.
All right. Beautiful. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. We'll talk to you again soon.
I appreciate that.